Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the WTL, the World Team League 2023 Winter Code S Round 8, day number 2. I'm, of course, host Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the chat, the production, Kuro, of course, and these lovely players as well. We are getting right back into round 8. It's been a couple of days. Day 1 of this round was a couple of days ago, earlier in the week, just to make sure it doesn't clash with the finals of ESL Masters. ESL Masters, the finals is going to be this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to tune in. But for now, we have some World Team League. Up first, Matcherino Esports versus Starlight Twinkle. Ooh, and we have a PvP to kick things off, and this does make sense. ESL Masters Asia is starting up right now, which means I believe Nice is unavailable. Nice is competing against Firefly and another the PvPs. The PvPs, they don't end, so this is going to be casted via replays. And in the top right hand corner, we have for Matcherino, Astrea. Oh, let's go. And in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent for Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. Nice. So again, we don't have cams here because I believe these matches were played ahead of time. Again, WTL, they do allow you to play your matches ahead of time if you have conflicting schedules, if you are unavailable. And again, ESL Masters Asia just began, and I believe Nice is going to be competing there as well. The only people that know the results of this outcome, of course, are going to be the players themselves. So we're still here to bear witness to how this PvP does unfold. This is a PvP. Anything can happen. Of course, Astrea, Matcherino, they're coming in as the favorites. But Starlight Twinkle, they are no slouches. And Nice in a PvP, he can make some magic happen. So far, we do have some pretty interesting openers. This is something, I don't want to say it's unique to Astrea. I've seen Skillus do it as well. But Astrea is going for a 2-gate opener, but in his main base, not at the ramp. Meanwhile, shout out to the sponsors, Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofull as well. Ooh, love to see it. Big shout out to the sponsors. Again, without them, World Team League would not be possible. It's a big shout out to the sponsors as we're getting into this. And again, to put emphasis on the opener here, Astrea, it's a bit of a give and take. So as you can see, Astrea, his economy is slightly better because his buildings are so much closer to his mineral line. You can throw down a building, then go back to mining that much faster. Also, your buildings are safe against a proxy. If your opponent was going for a bit of a proxy, a bit of a one-base all-in, then your ramp would be exposed, would be a little bit more compromised. Your production would be compromised as well. So again, just a little bit further back. The downside here is that Astrea is vulnerable to Adepts. Adepts, they can much easier shade into the main base. So Astrea, of course, is aware of that. Is going to have to try to take that into account when he does set up his defenses back at home, as he's sending his first probe out across the map here. Interesting. So second pylon is in the main base. I'm curious as to what the purpose of this probe is, though. It looks like we're just going to be going for some scouting, just checking the edges of the map before we go in and... oh, okay. We do end up heading towards the center of the map instead and going back here. Okay. We're just scouting. Making sure everything is on the up and up. Likewise, we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Astrea. Okay, should be rushing towards Blink. Interesting opener here. Going to be delaying his expansion in favor of Blink. And likewise, we should be seeing something similar out of Nice. We have 2 or double Stalker openers here all around between our players. Nothing too fancy, just vying for map control. Going for a solid opener overall. We see Nice going to be pushing on forward. Well, he does end up catching a Stalker, actually. Oh my god, that was pretty huge. On top of that, Nice does have a better economy. He does expand and take his natural base faster than his opponent. That's a 3rd gateway, by the way. That is a 3rd gateway on the way for Astrea. He could set himself up for a 1-base all-in. Oh my. Yep, there we go. Proxy Pylon is thrown down right next to the natural base at the 3rd base location of Nice. With a 3rd gateway, you do have an immense amount of production, especially this early on, especially with Nice investing so much money into a Nexus, whereas Astrea going to be spending that on production and on an army instead. Again, this kind of leads into the Twilight Council opener. It was still possible for Astrea to go into an economic follow-up, so I was still like a little bit on the fence about whether he would just double down and go all in, and I mean, that's what's happening. It is what is happening here as we are just, getting another round of Stalkers. Astrea, he has very limited scouting information, so he's got a shield battery in the mineral line just to make sure he's safe against an Oracle before he moves out, before he does send that across the map here. As Nice is getting ready for the all-in. We have sentries, shield batteries, a decent amount of stalkers as well. Not too bad. Not a bad setup here from Nice. Is it going to be enough? A lot of this is going to come down to the control. Is going to come down to the force fields as well. Nice. Astrea's got a couple of warping locations already. And here we go. Astrea is pushing. We're warping in 3 stalkers at a time. Astrea, he does have better production than his opponent. And he's about to have Blink. Yeah, we're 10 seconds away. We are going to be able to engage here ahead of time, though. We trade 1 for 1. Going to be trading, yeah, just 1 for 1 for now. It looks like Nice, he's losing a little bit too much. Does have the shield batteries, though. Does have a force field available. Oh, sentries are going down. For now, Nice, he's barely holding on. Behind this, he should have a robo on the way. We have a 3rd gateway in production for Nice. That will help with warp-ins. But if Astrea, if his blinks are too good, he dives on top of the army. Forces the overcharge, but he can one-shot workers. The overcharge does nothing. It's barely keeping these stalkers alive. Now we can 2-shot, and it looks like Astrea may just have too much here. Yeah, there's just nothing left for Nice. GG gets called, and Astrea will take game number 1. GG, well played. Nice. He didn't have a bad setup. I do think it was a little bit preemptive for him to push out and attack out in the open like that when he first moved out with his sentries. Also, he wasn't entirely certain if it was a 1-base all-in. Otherwise, I feel like we should have seen a defensive robo, which should have been leading into Immortals back at home, or at least a faster 3rd gateway to try to keep up with the production of his opponent. Alas, Nice, he was, again, not entirely aware of what exactly was coming his way. Had a decent setup, don't get me wrong. He had, you know, some shield batteries. He had some sentries as well. But the sheer amount of DPS that Astrea had didn't matter that he had shield batteries, didn't matter that he had an overcharge. He had enough to one-shot, and shield batteries, they do nothing in that scenario. GG. GG, well played. Very crisp execution out of Astrea. Very nicely done. And now we're getting into game number 2. And what is important is that Astrea hasn't really shown anything here. He just went for a 1-base all-in, a build that I'm sure he won't do on Side Delta. Side Delta has a ramp leading into the natural, so 1-base all-ins are ill-advised on this map. We could find ourselves in something a little bit different. We could end up going into something like Phoenix Wars. Both players should be going for gate expands. They should be going for economic openers, but it's up to our players. We'll see if that's what we commit to, and we'll see if that's what we, head towards. I'm quite curious here. Meanwhile, the pressure is now on Nice. Like, I do believe that Nice, he has beaten Astrea before. He can do it again, but he needs to here and now to fight back for his team. And here we go in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta. We have, for Matcherino, Astrea. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for on Side Delta for Starlight Twinkle, it is Nice. Oh, we're wearing the same jacket. Oh, wait, no. This is my other one. Never mind. My Zerg hoodie is elsewhere in the world. It's not. I've got the Overwatch version. So fun fact, back when Blizzard actually sold merch, what did I get? I got the Zerg hoodie, I got this one, the Overwatch one, I got Heroes of the Storm, I have that one somewhere. And yeah, I think that's it. And it's just the same hoodie, just different logo. I always found it really interesting that Nice has a Zerg hoodie despite being Protoss. It's kind of weird. Not gonna lie, it's a bit odd. Shaking my head. There is a Terran, or there was. They don't sell it anymore, but there was a Terran and Protoss variation. They do exist. And here we go. Is this pre-recorded? No, it is not. The cast is not pre-recorded. This best of 2 specifically is from replays. For now, though, we're getting into our openers. Again, gate expands. Next high are on the way. As I mentioned before, this should be an economic opener. Neither player rush into faster gases, so this is not going to lead into fast stargates. I almost said starport. This isn't going to lead into fast stargates. This shouldn't lead into phoenixes. So yeah, just economic openers all around. Probes are scouting the edges of the map, but alas, there's nothing really being done with them. So no proxies being set up. We're just easing ourselves towards the mid game. Do love to see it. Do love to see it here. As I said, though, we weren't really going to be committing to any kind of proxy, but Nice does throw down A proxy Stargate. Let's go. Stargate is thrown down. Now, this, again, won't be for any kind of like mid-game play. This is to rush into one, ideally two oracles as well, to get some economic damage. So both players are opening up economically, and we're kind of keeping up with each other. But this is a way for Nice to get a lead and get ahead, if it goes unscouted. Meanwhile, we do see Astrea going for his own scout across the map. This is also the downside here of these gate expands, is that your wall is a little bit more vulnerable. We do throw down a gateway, and we do get the full wall off. Astrea's in the dark. He does see the main base, though. I'm sure noticing that a pylon is missing. Yeah, there we go. There's only one pylon in the natural, so Astrea should be aware that something is wrong. Obviously, it could just be a hidden pylon and nothing too major, or it could be a proxy. Astrea doesn't know. Ooh, forcing a recall. Adept does slip into the main and does confirm the opener. Astrea is going for a robo-based opener. Very safe play. And Nice is now aware, of course, his opponent is maybe a little bit paranoid. With a robo-opener, you gain access to faster immortals. We mentioned earlier in the previous game how because Nice was lacking an immortal, he was vulnerable to a one-base all-in. And this is what keeps you safe from that. There it is, immortals on the way. So Astrea, he is maybe anticipating or a little bit worried and concerned that there is a one-base all-in coming, so he's going to be ready for it. Meanwhile, Oracle dives in, and Astrea is not ready for this. A bit of a misread here from Astrea, is going to be punished for it. 4 workers go down. Can we get the sentry? Going to go up to 6 worker kills. Very nice damage here, and we have a second Oracle on the way as well. Oh my god, can we get the... Okay, I was like, can we get the shield battery? Second Oracle's on the way. And now the pressure, the onus is on Astrea here, as he's still lacking anti-air. Oracle going to be dragging the attention away from that Stalker. You can see Nice take a massive economic lead. Adepts are across the map, but we have a full wall. The Adepts, they do nothing. So with this, Nice is ahead. He has 2 Oracles. They're still alive as well. Bear that in mind. So at any moment, they can join forces. They can dive into a mineral line. Even with a shield battery, these Oracles can one-shot workers. And interesting. So Astrea, he went for an Immortal first into a Prism. He's going across the map. We have a massive gateway explosion. 5 gateways on the way. That's going to be, I believe, what, 7 in total? Probes are going down. Astrea's going all in. But will he have the economy to sustain an all in? Ay. So many workers are going down across the map. Astrea, he's sending everything here. He has to end the game here and now with this army. Now, to be fair, Nice is kind of struggling. He only has a handful of units. He has a wall of shield batteries in production. 3 Stalkers to his name. Oh my god, that's a lot of shield batteries. That's 4 shield batteries on the way, and the Cyber Core is going to go down. Only Zealots can be warped in. Nice in a really rough position. He's rebuilding his Cyber Core behind his mineral line at the natural. Phoenix comes out. I love the Phoenix, by the way. Just adding a bit of DPS here to that Prism, but we're warping in 4 Stalkers at a time. Astrea, he would like to warp in more, but again, he has limited economy. This all-in is getting out of hand. 2 gateways go down. The Immortal gets caught, but can we even deal with it? Can we deal with said Immortal? It's taking a lot of hits, but can we pick it up? We can. We pick it up. We save the Immortal. Not like this. Ay. With that, stasis traps are being thrown down. No, the Immortal gets caught out, and Nice will be losing his first Immortal. He has a second. Adepts, they shade past the army towards the main base. And Nice, again, he has very limited production available. He's only got 1 gateway up and running. Adepts are going down. Big stasis trap. Oh my god, we can get to some of the Immortal. Astrea, he's looking. He's watching, Pappy. He was paying attention. This is still very close. Astrea still all in. There we go. The shades. Oh, the stasis trap does complete. Does run out. Adepts a shade towards the natural. 8 workers are going down. Just like that, Astrea, he ties up the economy. God, losing all those gateways for Nice was brutal. And now he's paying the price for it. He will clean this up eventually. I'd love to see the production tab, but just to see what exactly is going on and whether or not Astrea is making workers. It looks like he is. He's probing. Astrea, he's done enough damage. He knows he has. And now Astrea is taking an economic lead. He has restarted worker production. He recalls back home. The Oracles, no! They get here in time to get shut down. And Astrea, he was just so far behind. He was in such a rough position, but he has brought it all back. Adepts, they get into the main base. Prism does drop, and there we go. We just see the Adepts shading on in, getting additional worker kills. They can shade the hell out of there as well. Nice is lacking blink, so he just can't keep up with the movement here of Astrea. Adepts, a shade towards the natural, and Nice is being pulled apart. Just cannot keep up. And now suddenly Nice is going to be the one that's all in. The turns are tabling here, and yeah, Nice, his economy is just in shambles at this point. Outside of doing economic damage himself, like, he's gonna have to double down. Charge is on the way, which I think is a good idea. You can see here that he hasn't saturated the gases. He doesn't need them. He's only gonna warp in nothing but zealots. Oh no! But he still needs an economy. Phoenix finally rocks up, and we can deal with this Prism. Again, Nice, it was just frazzled, and now we're sending it. It's going to be a charge all-in with a Dark Shrine follow-up, which I do appreciate. But there should be detection. Again, it was a robo opener from Astrea. He should have an observer. Third base is on the way. A bit of a greedy move here from Astrea. He's just getting further ahead. He just has to solidify himself. Just make sure that he, has detection available and he's able to keep up with everything. Dark Shrine again, pointing out that it is on the way and so far unscattered. Do you have a Prism across the map trying to find some damage here, trying to find a way in, distracting his opponent? Yeah, it has to be recalled. Now, I'm unaware if there are any observers. If there aren't any observers on the map for Astrea, I know there is one for Nice. I know that Nice has one. If Astrea doesn't, then there is potential for a lot of damage. Observer's on the way. Astrea is making an observer, so he will have detection available. As long as he doesn't lose it, he should be okay. Now, even with detection being available, the observer's slow. There's only one of them, so it's going to take a little bit for it to really keep up with the DT harass. So there's still workers should go down. Like, there should be some economic damage. Oh no! Obviously, the observer does get sniped, which means Nice knows that there's detection. He's at least aware. Second observer is on the way. And it's all or nothing here for Nice. He's down 10 workers. He's down in supply as well. Does recall the main army. DTs, they're waddling, and no, they get spotted. No. They do get spotted by the observer, and Astrea, did he notice? It looks like he hasn't. There we go. Pulls the boys away. Does end up pulling the boys, and yeah, these DTs, they're going to get a couple of pros, but it's not enough. 5, 6 workers go down, 7 workers even. It's something. Behind this, Nice is going for Glaives. Yep, that tracks. So for those wondering, Glaive Adepts, they do have a place in PvP, but Glaives doesn't scale well into the mid game and into the late game. It's a very all-in upgrade to go for, and that's exactly what Nice is working on. So Glaive Adepts are on the horizon. The way that it works is Glaives, if they dive on top of an army, they can soak a lot of damage. It takes a long time for Immortals and Stalkers to kill them. They don't have an amazing amount of DPS themselves, but they do a great job just soaking damage. But Astrea is the first to push. Astrea is the first to move out across the map. We have Nice going for some harass here towards the natural base. He's looking for some economic damage. And he's going to find some big stasis trap goes off. The Prism does go down. Another oh my god, the stasis trap's Sparky. Nice, pulling off a miracle here, dealing with so much of this supply. Now he can engage. Good force fields. He does catch a couple of Stalkers. Gonna rotate back around. Astrea, of course, up in army supply. He has a 4th on the way. Stasis trap is about to run out. There's no backup trap. We up to 4 Immortals. So Nice, he's got a pretty hefty army here. Like, with these Immortals, he can definitely take a fight with the help of shield batteries and overcharge. Glaives is about to kick in. No Adepts to really take advantage of that, though. unfortunately. As we do see Nice trying to squeeze out a 4th base as well. I know Nice has charge. Does Nice have Blink? He must, right? I hope so. I think he skipped it for Glaives, if I'm not mistaken. Observer goes down. Means Dark Templar will not be a way out of this. Yeah, we're going to be pushing forward. Oh no, we do blink forward. We're just diving on the army. Immortal's going to be going down. Not a bad trade here for Nice. Not at all. Pretty good stuff. I was concerned that he did skip Blink, but no, he does have it. But he is zoned away from his own 4th base. It is going to go down. We're going to try to keep up. We get one more volley. We force the cancel. Behind this Astrea, he's got options. He can tech towards Disruptors. Disruptors will be amazing in this position. He could try to skip ahead and go into a Stargate transition as well. I'm curious. As for now, it looks like Archons. Okay, we have Templar Archives finishing up. Archons are on the way, Zealots as well. We invested into Glaives, and Nice hasn't really done much with it. It looks like he may be able to catch a Prism. Up. Up. Never mind. Does get it. He doesn't. It survived the shield battery. Prism does make it out. The Immortals, no, they're exposed as we blink back. We expose the Immortals. They go down one after the other. A massive loss here for Nice. And now Astrea is snowballing out of control. He catches the Zealots with his Archons. Gets on top of the Stalkers as well. The upgrades are even, but Astrea, he has the numbers. Numbers are on his side. GG gets called, and Astrea will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played, and yeah, really solid series here out of Astrea. Was in the driver's seat, at least in game number 1. In game number 2, Nice did an amazing job early on. Remember, Astrea kind of misread the situation. He lost a lot of workers to the Oracles, but Nice wasn't ready for the counterattack back at home. It was brutal that he lost those 2 gateways. He barely had any production to work with after that. To try to keep up production-wise, there was no... well, the Immortal production was a little bit delayed as well, and he just did lose control of the low ground. Losing the Cybercore was huge, a late backup Cybercore. Yeah, Astrea, really, really well done here, actually. Despite being in a really rough position, despite so much pressure being on him, he fought back. Fought back hard, fought back well. With that, Matcherino take a lead in the series, but we'll see if Starlight Twinkle can fight back. Up next, Nightmare versus Cham. El Chamaco, papi, El Chamaco. I believe Cham is going to be playing later on tonight as well in ESL Masters Americas. We may be co-streaming that. I'm still on the fence about whether I want to co-stream Americas tonight, just because sleeping for KSL is preferable. KSL is in, what, 12 hours time? Maybe like 14 hours time. And it would be nice to get like a solid 8 hours before KSL, leading into tomorrow's WTL as well. So we'll see. We'll see what we do. We'll see how we handle it. For now, though, it is going to be a PvZ up next, followed by Arrowfire versus Wayne in a PvZ. Again, Wayne is the ace player of Starlight Twinkle. He's going to be favored against Arrowfire, but here, Nightmare versus Cham, it's going to be an uphill battle for Cham. He has a lot to overcome. Can he? Of course he can. Of course he can, but he needs to really turn it on here tonight. The other added advantage is that later on tonight in ESL Masters, he has a ZVZ with Scarlet, so doesn't have to hold back in a ZVP, doesn't have to hide anything for Scarlet tonight. So can go full force here against Nightmare. And here we go, the players are getting ready. We're just having a look at their ELOs. Nightmare having a bit of a rougher season here. You see a bit of a downward trend in that ELO, but he's still an amazing player. And he has been looking damn good, especially in the PvPs and the PvTs. Against Zerg, I feel like his PvZ is the matchup that he struggles the most in, but despite that, like, he's still got such a high threshold that you do have to overcome, and it's going to be on Cham to fight back. Again, he's had a rough season as well, a rougher season even. But we're just loading on into game number 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner for Matcherino Esports, it is Nightmare. And in the bottom left, we have for Starlight Twinkle, it is Cham. Aha. Let's go. And this best of 2 will not be played by replays. I mean, I did see some people asking about it before, about it like being pre-recorded or something. Again, the first best of 2 was via replays because Nice is also competing in ESL Masters. This best of 2 though is being played live because we have our cams, we have our webcams. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Also, predictions are about to close. If you're in the chats, predictions, Papi, predictions. Not too much time before they are going to be shut down. So do place your bets. Again, so far the openers are looking quite standard. Getting into this though, Nightmare, he's a very aggressive Protoss. So both players are. Both players are very aggressive. Both players, I feel like they thrive in the mid game. I would say that Cham is a little bit cheesier than Nightmare. Cham, he's more willing to cut workers early on and to just send it. Nightmare, he has more refined builds where he can really thrive in the mid game, going for, you know, Twilight Council openers, DTs, Glaive Adepts, going for 3 basic Glaive Adepts as well. Nightmare can be very in your face and very difficult to keep up with. So we'll see if Cham can dictate the pace of the game or, again, even try to keep up with what Nightmare has to offer. We will see. In the chat, is Cham cheesier than Demi? It depends. It depends. Maybe not. Maybe not. Kappa, Papi, Kappa. Demi, at least once in a best of 3, is gonna like 19 drone ling flood you. That's in ZVP. 100%. 100% of the time. Always, Papi, always. I don't know if Cham is one to do that. For now, though, we're just gonna be droning, saturating our bases, getting our natural up and running. True. Kappa, Kappa. Ay, ay, ay. But I hope everyone in the chat's enjoying themselves. Hope you're all enjoying here. And hopefully we get a back and forth as well. I want a back and forth series. I want us to even go to the ace match. We don't get them too often. An ace match is always welcome here in WTL. For now, Stargate opener out of Nightmare. He, of course, does check saturation at the natural, just to make sure that we're droning, which I think is a wise choice against Cham. You know, make sure that everything is on the up and up. Additional queens are on the way. And yeah, we're just getting into this. Interesting. Okay, so Nightmare, it's going to be Stargate first into a Void Ray. I did mention before that Nightmare, he's more than willing to go into something like Glaive Adepts, even off of a Stargate opener. So this could be a sign of that, or it could just be a way to just throw some deception out there and really make Cham second guess himself. With this Void Ray, Overlords are going to be hunted down, and it's going to be that much more difficult for Cham to get a read on what's happening. Well, Cham does have 2 Overlords out on the map, and yeah, it's going to be difficult to keep them alive, keep them safe from that Void Ray. As the Void Ray moves out, oh, that's a 3-minute 40 Evo Chamber from Cham. This should be for +1 melee, but we'll see if he kind of techs in a different direction. As the Void Ray is going to be zooming across the map. I believe the Stargate wasn't seen, or I mean, I should say, it was seen. I believe the Void Ray wasn't spotted, so we'll see if Cham can avoid damage here as the Void Ray is going to be zooming across the map. Third base is being taken. Oracle behind this, the Void Ray. We're looking for the Overlords, and it looks like we will come across them. There it is. First Overlord has been found. There's +1 melee on the way. Get a very fast upgrade. This feels a little bit old school. We used to see a lot more fast Evo Chambers and fast +1 melees last season, just because of the +2 timing, the +2 kind of power spike that you can hit in ZVP. That doesn't exist anymore, so yeah, this is a bit more of a rarity here in this matchup to see +1 melee so quickly. As the Overlords are being hunted down. It's going to be the second Overlord falling. Cham, of course, just still focused on saturating his bases. He isn't banking up lings or anything like that, not yet at least. But with this +1 melee, I imagine he's going to be throwing down a Baneling Nest, not a Roach Warren. We do have a follow-up. Twilight Council +1 with that Forge. Third base is on the way. So Nightmare, he's playing standard. He's getting into his mid game, getting into his Stalker production. Cham likewise is going to be going Ling Bane, skipping Roaches. Here we go. 5 Adepts have arrived. With the help of this Oracle, we're looking for economic damage. We don't commit. We totally can. There's barely any Lings to defend. There's 8 Lings. And 20 more on the way. For now, we're just dealing with all this creep. Keeping Cham in check. Very tentative play here out of Nightmare. He's been very prone, or he just hasn't really been looking to commit to any of these dives. I do think that there was a lot of damage potential earlier on. Oh, as we can catch a queen. Oh, we do catch the queen. Couple of tumors as well. Cham sending it across the map, getting ready for a Bane Bust, actually. Oh my god. Roach 1 is thrown down. He's double expanding, taking his 4th and his 5th base at the same time. So Cham, he's investing, is thinking further ahead, but he should be able to bust into the natural. No! Adept goes down. The wall has been breached. And we go straight for the mineral line. The probes! Probes are exposed. 8, 9 workers go down. And Cham, he breaks into the main base as well. Oh my god. The Banelings, the splits! The splits of the Banelings are just too good. And 26 probes go down. We get a surround of the Stalkers. Blink is done, but Stalkers are falling. And Nightmare is falling apart. He's falling apart here. Cham is getting so much done. He's up 20 workers. He annihilates the economy. Cleans up a lot of Stalkers as well. And behind this again, Cham, he wasn't all in. He was double expanding. Bailing speed was on the way. I mean, he's on a lower worker count. This is true. He's still making more Lings. And he's looking to surround this army once again. Or at least trying to... The Blinks are looking good here from Nightmare, but Adepts are going down. A couple of Stalkers are getting low as well. Cham squeezing out a couple of workers wherever he can. Roach production is commencing. Roach speed on the way. Cham does have a follow-up. And Nightmare doesn't have the economy to really sustain a push. He's reprobing. Stuck at home resaturating his bases, and he's giving Cham so much freedom. Or Cham has given himself so much freedom. As he's getting ready for a Ling counterattack. Here we go, +2 melee on the way. So far, Nightmare is doing a good job of keeping up with the Ling harass and now keeping up with the movement of Cham. But behind this, Cham, he isn't really committing as hard. He has drawn up to 57, still cutting workers at a lower worker count. Very low, actually. Less than 3-way saturation, by the way. But he's just hammering down Lings and Roaches. I'm sure he's hoping that Nightmare pushes, and that's exactly what's happening. Nightmare is pushing, and Cham, he's ready for a fight. And here we go. Cham looking for the surround. The Lings are coming in from behind. Oh! They do crash on in, forcing a blink, catching some of the Stalkers as well. And Cham, he dives right on the army. Roaches are popping off. Oh, my Stalkers are going down as well, and it looks like this 3rd base is going to be broken. Cham coming in with, what, a 350 ELO? Like, he has been having a really rough season, but he breaks the 3rd base of Nightmare. Workers are coming in. The boys are being pulled, but they're so low. Every worker is going down. Once again, Cham just doing such a blow here to the economy of Nightmare. And he's not stopping. He's not slowing down. He's catching the Stalker army. Getting a kill on that Nexus. And now he can go for the natural. GG gets called. Cham will take game number 1. Ah. GG, Papi. GG. Oh no, someone get him some water. He's running out. But Cham will take game 1 here. And yeah, really impressive stuff. Very, very impressive. Again, a really powerful +1 timing there. Remember, +1 kicked in, and he did come in with a Bane Bust. Nightmare was in the dark. He did have an Oracle out. He was, of course, harassing with his Adept, if you recall, his Adepts even. But he was forced to back off, and he did not see the move out of Cham. Didn't see the army being positioned. On top of that, if you remember, there was opportunity for damage for Nightmare. If you remember, when he first pushed with the Adepts, there were 8 Lings to defend, and Cham wasn't really ready for it. But Nightmare was unwilling to dive into a mineral line. He was just cleaning up creep. He was just poking on the edge of creep, and he in a way allowed Cham to be a little bit greedy and get away with not quite being caught with his pants down. He was able to get his lings out, go for a counterattack, and yeah, really well done. Really well executed by Cham. Nightmare just unable to get a read on what was happening, unable to keep up. I don't think he saw the fast Evo Chamber. I don't think he saw the fast pulse on melee. And now we're getting to game number 2. Here we go. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. We're getting into that second game, and yeah, it is going to be Oceanborn as the map of choice for Nightmare. Here we go. And on a map like Oceanborn, you can get a secure 3-base setup, and you can also be quite aggressive as well. The rush distance by ground is a little bit shorter, much more straightforward here on this map. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have for Matcherino Esports, Nightmare. And in the top left for Starlight Twinkle, we have Cham. And it's throwing me off that Cham is red and Nightmare is blue. which does not correspond with their logo colors. I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. But yeah, here we go. my brain had to do some work here for the intros, okay? Had to do some work. But for now, we're getting into our openers. Hatch gas pool here from Cham. What looks to be a hatch gas pool. Hatch first here at the unnatural natural. Nightmare just forcing some inefficiency here out of Cham. Back at home, should be going for his own gate expand. Nothing too wild. Nothing too crazy. But I did notice this as well. Cham has a very unique way of opening. He goes for a hatch pool gas. He did the same thing last game as well, and I believe it led into slightly faster queen production. I think he delayed his lings early on, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see. But yeah, just a slight deviation from the norm here for Cham. Nothing too wild, though. As usually, you'd go for a faster gas. And we're getting into our openers. Now, because we're on Oceanborn, I expect Nightmare to be more aggressive. I expect him to be more in the face of Cham. I mentioned it in the last game, and I was a little bit surprised when Nightmare went for a Void Ray opener and didn't really do much with it. Which, I mean, it happens, right? You go for a Void Ray just to incept your opponent and just to kind of like play with expectations. But it was just a Void Ray opener into a third base, into a Forge, and a Twilight Council plus on and Blink. Like, everything was normal. Everything was hitting at a bit of a later timing. And against Cham, like, that's a really risky thing to do. I feel like Cham, he thrives when his opponent plays Standard. If his opponent is playing Standard, then Cham, he can get away with a lot of greed or get away with a lot of just cheeky builds. If his opponent is aggressive, then I do feel like that's where Cham can struggle because his own builds and his own aggression get disrupted, and Cham can maybe have a harder time, especially if his opponent has an economic lead leading into the mid game. So we'll see if Nightmare is a little bit more assertive. This time we do have another Twilight Council, another Stargate opener out of Nightmare. 2 games in a row so far. Remember, last game we went for a Void Ray. I would love to see a Void Ray first into a Twilight Council this time, just to play with expectations, and there it is. Void Ray is on the way. So the goal of this Void Ray is to deny Overlords and deny scouting. We saw in the last game that he denied scouting, but he wasn't doing anything crazy with it. He was just playing Standard. This time, I expect him to throw down a faster Twilight Council. I expect him to actually be aggressive and do something with this, but we'll see. As for now, Adepts is still just going to be shading across the map. Oh, and they deny a lot of mining time here at the natural. Oh my god. They get 2 lings and do delay quite a lot of mining. It's going to be Void Ray into the Oracle. Void Ray going to be moving out, looking for some more Overlord kills. Cham going for a slightly later Evo Chamber. That was around a 355 Evo Chamber timing from Cham. Should be for fast plus on melee again. As there's our third base on the way for Nightmare. And are we going to throw down a Forge? That's what I'm really looking at here. from our Protoss. Do we throw down the Forge? Do we work on upgrades? There's the Twilight Council. Gas is being taken. And the longer Nightmare goes without a Forge, the higher chances this is of being Glaive Adepts. We shall see as now the Forge is thrown down. Once again, Nightmare going for a standard opener. Okay. Should be +1 in Blink, could be +1 in Charge, but yeah, so far it's almost a mirror of the last game where Cham is going Ling Bane, he's going to have a faster +1 timing, and Nightmare's focusing on his economy and focusing on the mid game. Now, he does have a couple of Adepts that are being active on the map, and they can always threaten a mineral line and maybe get some drone kills. They weren't able to in game 1, but we'll see if we have a little bit more success here in game number 2. Once again, just really careful play out of Nightmare. Doesn't want to throw anything away. He shaves off some Lings and gets the hell out of there. Behind this, Lings are amassing for Cham. He's showing up to 56 again, just sub 3 base saturation. Basically 3 bases without the gas geysers. And Cham, he's doing it again, 2 games in a row. He's just amassing Lings. Roach Horn's on the way behind this, and he should be going for a bit of bangling aggression across the map. And can Nightmare keep up so far? He misses the Lings! Oh. A Void Ray does spot them, though. We ignore the Void Ray, we go straight for the natural base for the 3rd even, but so far we find no damage. Instead, Cham is looking to surround these Adepts. The Adepts, even if they commit to the Shade, they will be dealt with, and they commit! Lings are lying in wait, and they will be shut down. I believe 1 Adept will escape. Behind this, Cham, he still hasn't droned, by the way. He's squeezing out a couple of workers. There's 3 drones in production, but he's still just amassing more Lings, Roaches as well. Now, the biggest difference, this time Cham hasn't dealt any economic damage. Nightmare's in a better position. Nightmare, he's on 3 bases, he's ahead in the economy, he's getting into railroad production, +1 and Blink are done. So, same playstyle out of Cham, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to really gain momentum here. I mentioned before that Oceanborn is a really good map to secure yourself on 3 bases. Your 3-base setup is just very safe, and it's very difficult to really punish it. The 4th is a different story. Taking your 4th base is a lot more difficult because it's on the low ground, whether it's the center 4th or the linear 4th. But in saying that, Nightmare, he's just going to be taking up. +2 on the way. Robotics Bay, Gateways as well. And I do favor Nightmare if the game goes on. He's just getting into his comfort zone. Now, if he attacks, that's when I'm going to be concerned, because Cham has a pretty big army. He's got a lot to work with. Spire is thrown down. Cham droning a little bit heavier here, taking up into an infestation pit. He's thinking about Hive. He's thinking about Mutas. He gets scouted. Hallucinations come in. They do get eyes on the Spire. Mentally, at least, Nightmare is going to be ready for those Mutas. Dives in, gets a Queen. Not bad. As Cham is going to dive on these Stalkers as well. He catches a couple of them. Not bad. A couple of Stalkers are going down. Cham is just making nothing but Lings, by the way. 44 Lings in production. Gets on top of some more of these Stalkers. A lot of them are bleeding out. Expensive losses for Nightmare. Now again, Nightmare, he is up to a decent worker count. 3-base saturation. Still no 4th. Surprisingly, still no 4th base. Lings once again coming from behind. Oh my god, and Nightmare, he gets completely surrounded. A massive pickup here once again from Cham. Colossi are on the way, but by the time they come out, it's too late. There's barely an army, and Cham, he's doing it again. He finds the army. The force fields are going to keep this Colossus alive just barely. But only for a couple more seconds, as it will go down, and Cham, he's just barreling down this third base. The Colossus still lives. Oh my god. That overcharge, that's crazy. That overcharge just barely kept it alive. Cham, he wants the Colossus so badly, he's not gonna get it. Oh my god. A big commitment there from Cham, and there now comes the second Colossus, and Nightmare holds. Nightmare barely holds on. If that Colossus had gone down, that would have been it. But really good control out of Nightmare, really good positioning. And Cham has to back off. He is still ahead in economy, still has those 80 workers, but Nightmare, he pulls off a miracle defense. Even feeling confident enough to counterattack and push onto creep, which is wild. And Cham has to double down. Thankfully, there we go. +1 air attack is on the way. Vipers, the Hive is done. Adrenal. Cham, he's not tunnel visioning. He is thinking further ahead. He's teching up. And he should be maxed out soon. He should be pushing soon. Oh, Banelings are caught out though. It looks like Cham is most likely going to wait for his Vipers, which means by the time he's ready for his next attack, Nightmare should be up to around 150 supply. Should have a couple of extra Warpins available. Nightmare's still stuck on 3 bases, still hasn't taken a 4th. Cham, he's just amassing his Lingbane Roach Ravager army. He is maxed out, gathering energy on those Vipers. Once they're ready, we can finally deal with those Colossi. They've been a thorn in Cham's side this entire game. Like, I still can't believe that one Colossus lived. But Vipers, they are kind of, in a way, the anti-Colossi, the anti-Robo unit. Void Ray could potentially shut them down. There we go. We do focus on the Viper. Up. Can we abduct in time? We get 1. We get 2. We're going to get all 4. The abductions do complete. 1 Colossus lives, but there's just too many roaches, too many banelings. We crash on forward. Can we get the last Colossus? So far, the juggling's pretty good. Wow, a Nightmare, he holds. The concave is insane. And once again, with 1 Colossus remaining, he does hold on. And Cham lost his Vipers. He has to rebuild. He has to rebuild his Vipers from scratch. Remaxing once again. Cham, I would say that he traded well. Bleeded out a lot of roaches towards the end, but he's diving in. He's diving on top of this. Oh my god. He's diving on this once again. Fighting off a creep is always brutal, though. Good kiting here from Nightmare, but it's a numbers game. He barely has an army remaining. The Colossus! No! It isn't saved. It isn't juggled. It floats up to the surface. Not like this, and it looks like Cham has finally done it. Overcharges pop, but the shield battery is exposed, and it should be going down. And I can't believe my eyes. Cham 1-1. I could believe that. I was like, no, yeah, okay, he can take a game off of Nightmare, 100%. Of course he can. A 2-0? No shot. Oh my god. El Chamaco, papi. He's back. Back with a vengeance. El Champion. He's warming up here for tonight for ESL Masters. For ESL Masters Americas. As he's just powering on through. The good control here from Nightmare. Blinking back to the high ground. But that will still expose his natural base. And Cham should have enough to break this. Should have enough to clean up this mineral line and go to town on these stalkers. Again, Nightmare, he's microing his heart out. He's blinking as hard as he can. But GG gets called, and Cham! Oh my god. oh. Put the phone down. What did that mean? I don't know. GG, well played. Cham does take the 2-0. GG, papi, GG. Oh my god. Time to hang up? I don't... leaving you on red. As just like that, we are tied up 2-2, and this is terrifying. It's gonna come down to our next best of 2 here, Arcfire versus Wayne. And Wayne is the ace player of Starlight Twinkle. And there is a very high chance here that Starlight Twinkle, they can take the series. Like, they can pop off. Oh my god. Again, GG, well played. Big shout out to Cham here, taking the 2-0 in the end, taking the win out of off of Nightmare, which is a massive upset as well. Nightmare was the clear favorite, but not tonight, Poppy. Not tonight. You called the wrong number. As I need to remember, we're going to be taking a small break here. A small break. When we return, we will have our final best of 2 of this best of 7, Fire versus Wayne. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have a couple of updates. Some good, some bad, some questionable. So if you're in the chats, I did just let everyone know that I was congratulating Cham El Chamaco. I was congratulating him on Discord, and he did let us know. I think the first thing he said, I won without sleeping. What a chat. Praising himself a little bit, but yeah, Cham, he apparently didn't sleep at all last night, so he just came in without resting and was able to take a 2-0 of Nightmare. Maybe he should just not sleep before a game. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. But best of luck to Cham. He's gonna be playing in ESL Masters later on tonight. ESL Masters Americas in like 6 or so hours. He hasn't. I was like, Papi, get some sleep, and he hasn't responded to me. So either he has fallen asleep at his chair, at his desk, or he's gonna stay up. We'll see. I hope he does get some rest before his matches tonight, though. He's gonna be playing against Scarlet. He's gonna be playing against Scarlet in ESL Masters Winter. The other news that we have is that this is an extended break. I don't know if you noticed, but this is not normal. Usually, if there's a break like this, it's because they're setting up the lobby or because a player is missing. And we have confirmation. Unfortunately, there is a forfeit. There is going to be a forfeit. I think they may try to substitute. No, there we go. It's just been updated. Fire is going to be forfeiting against Wayne. Unfortunately, he is unavailable. Unfortunately, something has come up, and yeah, there we go. He is going to be forfeiting instead. I believe some issues did come up regarding his studies and his school, and I believe he's just unavailable. It happens, especially in an online event like this. Sometimes something pops up and Fire cannot compete, which means by default Starlight Twinkle will take the series. Wayne gets the default 2-0, and Starlight Twinkle do come out on top. A little bit bittersweet. I would have loved to have seen them face off. I do think that Wayne was the favorite player, and a 2-0 was more likely than not. I do think Wayne was coming in as a heavy favorite. I would have loved to have seen a best of 2 between them, and maybe next time. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. For now, we're going to be going back to the break here. Back to the break. When we return, we have one more best of 7. It's going to be Psystorm Gaming versus Mystery Gaming in a couple of minutes. See you soon.